Today I want to talk to you guys about something that's going to be really, really important for your trading journey. And I'm going to start teaching more on this. I'm actually, and sorry for the background noise, I actually love y'all enough and we pulled on the side of the road. And you're not in the camera, my baby, she don't want to be on camera, but we're actually driving to Beverly Hills. And but I wanted to pull over and talk to you guys about this topic because I know that during your journey, you're going to have to cross this road. Okay, so how do you take losses without feeling discouraged? Okay. Hi, by the way, hi everybody. So one of the things that I want you guys to write down, and this is what I'm going to be teaching my students a lot more as well, but I want you guys to write this down. This is going to be a short video because again, I'm traveling, but I wanted to kind of give you guys some encouragement. So here's what you want to do. Write down these two terms. One of the things to help me is there's a guy by the name of Eckhart Tolle. If you read books or anything like that, you will know who he is. He's written a couple of powerful books I've read of his. One is called The New Earth. The other one is The Power of Now. Now watch this, how it plays out in your Forex trading. The first term I want you to write down is psychological time. And the second one is clock time. Write these down. You're going to see how it ties together on your trading. Just write these down. Write it down. Psychological time versus clock time. Okay. Psychological time is where you begin to take a loss in your Forex trade. And now you're thinking about it. You're personally absorbing it. It feels like a personal loss. You're taking it as saying, oh, well, you know, I can't do anything right. I can't win. And notice the difference. Watch this. The key word in there is you keep mentioning I. If you know Forex, the Forex market is the largest market in the entire world as far as finances. It's bigger than the stock market and all the other things. It's the biggest in the world. So do you really think that your $10 loss, your $100 loss, your $1,000 loss was that personal? No, it's just the game. It's a financial game. It's a financial casino. And I've been telling people for the longest, even when I was trading in the stock market, I said, this is the largest casino in the world. It's bigger than Las Vegas. It's bigger than any slot machines ever invented. It is the biggest gambling market in the world. So therefore, what happens is when you take a loss, you're taking it personal because it's your money. And I get that. I get that because it's in accordance with what the Bible has said all along. Where your treasure is, there will your heart or your emotions be also. It's hard to separate your money from your emotions. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you take a loss, it's personal to you, but technically, on the grand scheme of things, it's not personal at all. It's just all business. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying so far? So the problem is that now when you're thinking about that trade, you turn it into quote unquote, write this down, psychological time. And you say, well, what's the difference between psychological time versus clock time? Clock time is just simply, okay, I review the loss, see if it was something that I missed on my strategy. Maybe I needed to tweak my strategy. Maybe I needed to study a little more. Maybe I executed the plan wrong, or maybe the market was just acting up. So you see how it's non-personal. So therefore, when you do your analysis on that trade that you lost, it's not I included. It's not personal. It's just a trade that you lost. And if you're having a string of back-to-back losses, it could be one of two things. One, it could be your strategy or the indicators you're using. Number two, it just could be that you're trading at a bad time when the market is just acting wacky. Do you see the difference? So those functions and features of the market is not personal. So now you're using your loss as clock time, which a lot of us do. We take losses, we go back and review, hey, maybe I entered the trade wrong. Did I not check the fundamentals? Because I teach in my class how to check news before you take a trade. Did I take a trade before the news event came out? This, that, and the other. In other words, notice that I'm going back to the technical analysis portion of my strategy to make sure I'm looking at things right. That's called clock time. What some of you guys are suffering from is called psychological time. And psychological times is so deep because what it does, it goes further than you. And I talked about this and some of you guys are not getting it yet. It goes deeper because if you already have a sense of self-worth issues, if you're already dealing with self-esteem issues, if you're already dealing with doubts and fears, then the Forex market or the stock market is the wrong place for you to be. Because every loss is going to feel personal because you were already feeling some kind of way in the first place. You were already dealing with psychological type of feelings. And it doesn't make you crazy, it just makes you human. If you're dealing with a relationship challenge, if you're dealing with a financial challenge, if you're dealing with fears, insecurities, this, that, and the other already, then the loss that you take has now converted into a psychological time period. Why do you call it psychological time? Because you spend a lot of time psychologically dealing with it and making it personal. And you say, well, how do I know the difference between the two? It's very easy. When you take a loss in Forex, the question you're asking yourself is, how do I feel about it? Well, if you're feeling personal and it's becoming personal to you, meaning that you cussing people out, you ready to throw your computer across the room, you irritated, you this and that, chances are it's a psychological loss and you're dealing with it with psychological time. In other words, the mental time you're putting into that loss is becoming psychologically damaging to you. Type in number 10 in the box if y'all understand what I'm saying so far. Type in number 10. I want to make sure you guys understanding the difference between the two. Very good. I'm seeing the 10s. Okay. So in order for you to a lesson next week after next, again, I'm traveling right now with my wife and that's why I'm going to do this one short, but I already have a complete lesson for you guys on how to become a professional trader, because that's what some of you guys' goal is. And I'm going to teach you guys some skills that you need to know on how to become a professional trader. But this is one of the biggest ones. You have to stop turning your analytical time of a loss into psychological time. In other words, now you putting all this into personal feelings. I blew my account. I did this. I did that. The market is attacking my trade, my this. See, and now it's psychological. That's psychological time. Clock time is just the difference. It's just, hey, this happened. Let me take a look at it. And then you back at it and say, okay, well, next time I won't trade at this time. Next time I won't do this. Next time I won't play with this pair. See, and it's all out there. It's not internal. It's not, you're not valuing yourself because of the loss. And that's where professionals are. That's what separates a professional trader from an amateur, is how you personally are interpreting what happened. It's the story you're telling yourself after the trade has lost. All traders lose. Please write that down. I can't tell you guys that enough. All traders will lose trades from here and there at some point. If you ever look at some traders who say, okay, well, you know, they sell these $1,000 programs and this and that. If you pay attention not to all the little bougie words they're using to try to sell you stuff, pay attention to what they actually says. Oh yeah, and our strategy have a 75% win rate. It has an 80% win rate. Well, what are they telling you? The same thing I'm telling you. That means that if it have a 75% average win rate or 80% win rate, then that means there's another 20% out there, which is telling you what? You're going to lose some of these trades. It's not personal. It's just the nature of the market that you're in. And I don't care whether it's the stock market. I don't care if it's the Forex market. I don't care if it's binary options. Heck, I don't care if it's real estate. I've done all of them. There are going to be losses. It's part of the game. It is no different from you going to a casino. The difference is when you go to a casino, you automatically know that you're going to give away some of that money you walked in the door with the hopes of winning. And you know, and I know, your chances of walking away with a jackpot in a casino is slim to none. And yet you go in there with enthusiasm and excitement. And when you lose over there, you're just like, oh yeah, it was lost, but it was some fun. I can't wait to go back again. See, that's how you treat a casino. Why? Because psychologically you walked in the door knowing that I'm going to use this money. I know I'm probably going to lose it, but it's going to be fun listening to the slot machine. Ching, 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 ching. And you knew. And you have no personal hard feelings. See how it's clock time. It's not personal. But the moment you go into the Forex market and you lose a trade, now it's all it's psychological time. It's all personal. And you got to ask yourself, why am I doing that? Well, I'll tell you why. If you're with me so far, type in number 5 in the box. I want to make sure y'all understanding what I'm saying. Because once this click to you, you'll be free from all this unnecessary stress you're under. Type in number 5 if you're with me so far. I want to make sure y'all getting what I'm saying. Okay, perfect. I'll close with this because again, I'm on the road and I pulled over on the side of this road overlooking this beautiful view of nature just to help you guys. Because I said I wasn't going to do a video today, but I just want to bless you. So here's the difference between you at a casino and you in the biggest casino in the world called Forex, because they're both exactly the same. It's just the difference is that you can kind of interpret and anticipate when moves are going to happen, unlike at the casino. That is why your expectations, write this down, because that's the key. The difference is your expectations. What are you expecting to come out with? When you go into the casino, you simply know I probably am not going to walk out of this door with the money I walked in with. Type amen if you know that's true. You walk in with a certain amount of money, knowing that you're probably not going to walk out with that money. And you're okay with it. And people make a whole trip to Las Vegas or wherever you are in your part of the world where there's a casino because it's nothing more than just some fun. And if it's not a casino, it could be bingo, it could be wherever. Okay, so see, the amens are coming in. See, it's the expectations that's causing your discouragement. That's the problem. Psychological time. Your expectations have shifted. You can take the same amount of money and go to a casino and feel nothing about it and walk away with your friends laughing and joking, and you just gave away the exact same money that you lost in your Forex account. But the problem is that in Forex, you were anticipating walking away with a certain amount of money, not losing it. And because of that expectation, which is justified, you should be expecting to make some money out of the Forex market. You should. But because of your expectation has caused it to be a personal thing to you now. So therefore, now you're adding more emphasis on the win-loss ratio. And because you're doing that, your feelings are getting hurt and you think it's personal against you. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, but you think your $50 loss was all about you. The whole market was against your $50. The whole market. And it feels that way. Why do you think that people start with strategies the moment they lose 1 or 2 trades, they're out and they're over, starting all over again? Because they can go to a casino and sit on a machine and lose 10 times in a row and still keep sitting there with glee and joy in their heart because they didn't have the expectations. They didn't bring in the psychological time. They didn't make it personal. And so by the time number 11 hit and you hear that slot machine go, ting, 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 oh my goodness, there you go. See, you sat there long enough without expectations other than this is just going to be a good time. And you are more patient. You're more resilient. You weren't frustrated. You weren't cussing people out. You weren't ready to pick the machine up off the ground and throw it across the room and get arrested. You didn't have any of those feelings that you have when you're trading in the market. But because of your expectations, which are valid, you should expect. But the problem is, you have to learn the guidelines or the boundary between having expectations, but without over exaggerating it to the point where you're going to make it personal. Therefore, when you take a loss, you analyze, say, hey, what did I do wrong? Let me analyze this. If you have a mentor, which is very important, which is why our students in Super Easy is doing so much better than the average people now. Because what you do is you have a mentor. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm in class. Even though I'm traveling, I will be at my destination to be on time for class. And I will be there. We give you a trade journal so that you can jot down your trades. You bring your trade journal on Tuesday and Wednesday, where I will be personally teaching the class. And at the end, every Tuesday and Wednesday, we're doing question and answer so that they can bring their questions and they say, hey, Uncle P, I looked at this trade and I took this trade here. And I did win it, but I just want to make sure that I did the right thing. Or I lost this trade, can we take a look at it? And we do this every single week so that you have a mentor or somebody who can guide you to make sure you're in the right direction. And as I teach them, sometimes it had nothing to do with you. It was just that you took a trade right when the news event was about to come out, which is don't do that. That's a no-no. That's part of our list. Check the news. And then oh yeah, you're right. I forgot to check the news before I took the trade. Just something simple to help you tweak it along so you're not making this a psychological time issue of, oh my God, I'm always losing. What's wrong with me? I can't ever win. And see how you're getting down on yourself? And meanwhile, another person took that same loss and then went, like for me, for an example, I'll tell y'all a loss I just took last week and I'm done because I got to go. USD CAD. Last week, the Feds came out with interest rate news. You can check your charts and you'll see it. Last week, USD CAD came out with interest rate news. The market spiked all the pairs across the board. I decided, okay, I know that they have pushed the USD CAD in an oversold position. I knew it. I knew it. I jumped in and they pushed it down further and hit my stop loss. I took a loss. All right. Now, if this was back in the day when I was making this psychological time, oh my God, every time I take a trade, I would have had a hissy fit. This time I said, no, I know I'm right. Check y'all's chart. I got right back in that trade after they hit my stop loss. Why? Because it wasn't psychological. It wasn't personal. It was just I was off on my timing, but I was right. But I was off on my timing. Y'all go back and check that same exact trade and tell me, did it not bottom out and then shoot right back up? Check your own charts on Friday. So you see how I'm not making it a personal thing. It's just business. So now it's just clock time. And that's what you have to transition from psychological time to clock time. Clock time is nothing personal. It's just, hey, let me just get back on the horse. Let me check my analysis, make sure I was right. Simple. It has no I included. Me, I. And you whining and crying because you're making it all about you. And if you cannot separate you out of this market, you should not be trading. And if you didn't hear nothing else from me and you say, I can't stand this dude because he always in my face telling the truth, then you don't have to ever tune into another one of my videos. But at least I gave you the facts and the truth. Because like I tell you guys all the time, the Bible said the truth will set you free. But if I was writing it, I would have added one extra thing. And I would have said the truth will set you free if you're willing to accept it. And some of you guys, you're not willing to accept the truth. And I'm here to give it to you. If you cannot handle a loss without making it personal, then you need to stop trading. Do not continue. Because until you can overcome making this psychological, personal versus clock time, hey, clock time is more, listen to it. Let me give you another definition of clock time. Clock time looks like this. You can be on a basketball court and you shooting hoops and you're going to miss, you're going to miss some shots. See, it's like in every other field of business, you're going to miss some. You're not going to make them all. In Forex, people come here thinking they're going to get the Holy Grail and never lose a trade. That is beyond ridiculous. And when they lose one, they lose in their freaking minds. And my question is, why? Why are you doing this to yourself and to your family? Because you're so off balance now. Your attitude is poor. You're depressed. You're this and that and this. And now you just all stuffed up in your head. You just really need to take a break. Instead of analyzing the charts, you really need to be analyzing you. And I strongly suggest, and I know ain't nobody else gonna tell you this because they want your money. But if you were considering joining us and and I'm talking to you and your spirit is resonating with what I'm telling you, that you can't handle losses, then I don't even want you joining us. Not yet. You need to get your head together. You need to get your head together. Because you're becoming personally destructive to yourself, and then that's going to spill over to other people. The ones closest to you, they're going to suffer. You just really need to stop. That's like LeBron James. You telling LeBron James, yeah, you're the greatest basketball player in the world currently right now, but you better make every shot. You're the holy grail of basketball. Ain't that crazy if somebody think that, honey? My baby right here. That's crazy. You know doggone well, yeah, he is the best basketball player in my opinion right now, but guess what? He's still going to miss some shots. Tom Brady is, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks on the planet currently right now. And he has a record to prove it. But yet the brother get knocked down and he throws some interceptions sometimes. See, they don't make it personal. They just keep on going like ain't nothing happened. And that is when you have separated professionals from amateurs. And I'll leave you with this last story because I want to make sure y'all getting this. Because some of you guys are in psychological torment right now. You ain't told nobody. And that's the bad part about Forex. You hold these secrets within to the best of your ability because nobody understands you except another Forex trader. And most Forex traders never want to talk about this part because it's too painful. So they'll pretend like they make every trade a winner because they don't want to tell you the truth either. See, I don't have a problem with it. You need to know. God holds me accountable for what I tell people, the good and the bad. Now, if you looked at the video I posted earlier this morning about market makers method versus our system, you clearly see, okay, boom, it's easy trading. It's not hard, but you still know there's going to be some losses. But here's the difference between psychological time and clock time. Professionals use clock time. Amateurs deal in psychological time because they make it all personal. Here's the last story and I'll let you go. And I got to go myself. Sorry, thank you, baby, by the way.
Oh, you're fine.
My sweet wife sitting right here. Love that girl. Here's the difference. I told you guys when I was living in a different state. I used to live around the corner from Deion Sanders, the football player, and Torrey Hunter, the baseball player. We all lived close to each other. And I told you that my son used to play football on a high school football team with Torrey Hunter's sons. Okay? And I remember doing that father-son breakfast. I will never forget it. Tori and I were sitting next to each other talking. And he was telling me how, and he had just got that, I think it was a $25 million contract in baseball. He had just got that $25 million contract. And we were sitting there talking. And he said, he was telling me about how he used to, when he was in college, how he slept on his on college floors and this and that and this. And he was telling me how he began. And he told me, I will never forget this. And this is the epitome of psychological time versus clock time. Watch the difference between the professional and the non-professional. Watch this. He asked me a question. He said, do you know the difference between a professional baseball player and an amateur? I said, no, because technically, I mean, it's cool. I'm sitting next to an all-star baseball player, Mr. Golden Gloves and this and that, been on ESPN, blah, blah, blah. That's real good. But the truth is, I didn't want to tell the man. Oh, yeah, you can take a picture of my car. Okay, thank you. Sorry, y'all. I told you people like my car. She asked me, can she take a picture? That's cool. Sorry, y'all. Oh, yeah, no worries. No problem. That's so sweet. Ain't that cute? She said, can I take a picture of your car? Okay, so anyway, let's get back because I got to finish. Okay, so watch this, y'all. He said the difference between an amateur and a professional is simply this. And I told my students this story before to help them with clock time versus psychological time. He said when a professional baseball player goes to the field, he said the moment they leave the locker room, he said all their personal problems, they leave it psychologically in the locker room. So when they're on the field, all they're focused on is strictly the game. Now, again, I didn't want to tell him I ain't even into baseball, dog. I know who you are because you live around the corner, but I really ain't into baseball. I like football and basketball, but I ain't want to say that to the man. Yeah, I ain't want to say that to the man, but I still respected what he was saying. He said, the moment a professional, watch this, the moment a professional Forex trader, let's use it in your terms, the moment a professional Forex trader goes to the charts, all their personal problems, all the arguments they had, all the different feelings they have about themselves, I'm a loser, I'm a see, you don't tell nobody that, but you sometimes be thinking that stuff. So you don't tell nobody all this stuff, and you bring all this to the charts. And then when you're doing your analysis and you lose a trade, you didn't just lose a trade, you lost your mind. Because you brought all this other stuff to the charts. So he said the professional baseball player goes onto the field, but they leave all their personal problems in the locker room. And he said the moment they're done with the game, when they go back to the locker room, they pick back up their problems. He said some of them are going through divorces, some were going through this, that, and the other. But he said the moment they hit the field, all they focused on was just the game. And he said that's the only difference between a professional baseball player versus an amateur. He said the amateur brings their emotions onto the field. And so they're not 100% focused. So our question for you, Forex trader, trying to be a professional, can you honestly say that when you go to the charts, it's all about just the charts? Or can you honestly say, you know what, I think you got a point? If you think I'm telling the truth, type a 100 in this box. I want to make sure I'm with y'all. Y'all understand what I'm saying. Because that's the only difference between the two. Professional traders sometimes have lost the exact same trade that you just lost last week too. But the difference is how they felt about it. Thank you for them 100s. See, I'm always telling you the truth because you need to know the truth. We all lose trades, but the difference is how you personally feel about it. Was it just simply a loss or was it personal? And if every trade is going to be personal, you're going to have a hard time in Forex. You're going to have a hard time in stock market. You're going to have and God forbid, people keep asking me, are you going to go back to teaching binary options? If you can't handle a loss on the swing trade, my God, you cannot handle taking the trade on the, and you got to be right every 30 seconds. Because in binary options, that's how we were trading, every 30 seconds or every minute. And if you can't handle a trade that lasts in one day, my God, how many times why do you think scalpers have such a hard time? I keep trying to warn you guys. If you're ever going to try to start, and this is your first time and you're considering trading Forex, do not, I repeat, do not start trying to be a scalper. Start being a swing trader where it gives you time so you can learn the charts, learn the rhythm and things and this and that. That scalping is so fast paced, and the more losses you stack up, the more you're going to have psychological damage and you're going to have psychological time. That is probably why some of you guys are dealing with it now. Because you started off scalping and you got scalped. I'm sorry, baby. They got you. You got scalped. You thought you was going to scalp the market and they scalping you because it's too quick. You don't understand stuff. And now you're losing so much. And now you walking away, refilling your account every other week. I'm sorry, every other day. Still ain't learned nothing. Now it's eating you alive. Now you're feeling discouraged. Now you can't tell the truth to your family, and on and on. And you're just in a downward spiral. And one of the biggest reasons why you're doing that is because you ain't getting coached. You're willing to lose hundreds of dollars every week in the Forex market, but you won't invest into learning from a real coach. And I can't tell you how many people are cheap like that. Or at least they think they're being cheap. But if you add up how many times you refilled your account, you could have paid for a Forex coach 50 times over and got real tutelage. And many in my group now realize they were right there on the cusp, but they just needed a little coaching to get them over that edge. And now, just like one person, and I'm really done. One person I was so touched. Because he said, you know what he did on Friday? He did a withdrawal. Some of y'all ain't did one withdrawal yet. Never made no money. He did a withdrawal, and he said, I went out and I started giving away $20 bills to homeless people. He said, that was my way of paying tithes on the money I withdrew. Now, isn't that a good thing? See, the man is making money now to the point where he can pull money out and give it to those who's in need. And meanwhile, you dumping all this money into the market. Just add up how much over the last 6 months or the last year you actually put into your trading account without doing ever one withdrawal. And that's because you're being cheap. Or you think you are, and it's costing you dearly. Not only financially, but psychologically. Share this video. I'm out.